The following program contains the opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Howdy ho, everybody. Coming to you cordless and live. It's Monday night, November 24th, 2025. It's 9:01 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States, 6:01 p.m. on the West Coast, where the weather's nice, and 8:01 p.m. where I'm sitting in Northeast Minneapolis, where the weather isn't. And I am Jim Peters, and welcome to another edition of Jim Peters Tonight. This is show number 297. So if you can do a little adding there, like +3, that brings us to our 300th show, and that's going to be next week, and we'll talk about that in a second. Nice to see you, folks. What do I got? I'll tell you what I got. I got Dr. Gilda Carle as our guest tonight. Dr. Gilda from television fame. She's joined us second time on the show. A fascinating conversation. Seriously, I booked this specifically because I didn't want to do with anything too heavy before Thanksgiving. And she's a marvelous conversationalist. And her book is called Real Men Don't Go Woke. It came out last year, about a year ago, almost exactly this week. And we're going to talk about that and a few other things. We taped this afternoon. It's a hybrid. We do this show live, but we tape the interviews. And the reason is, I've explained this before, too many technical problems. I don't want you guys to have to wait through 5 minutes of us trying to figure out why the sound on the guest's mic is not working. So we figure all that stuff out ahead of time. Then we push the record button. Then we do it. That's the way it works. But I am sitting here at 8:01 p.m., 8:02 now, in Minneapolis live. And speaking of that, so after the interview's over, we got open phones tonight. We're going to be doing, excuse me. You can call in 325-225-5546. I should have put the banner on the bottom of the screen. I'm sitting here like a dope for 5 minutes waiting for the intro to start, and I didn't do that. But yeah, it's 325 call Jim. That's how you're gonna remember. Now you can call that number 24/7 anytime you want. If we're not on the air, you can leave a voicemail message. You got 2 minutes to say whatever you want, and please go right ahead. If you need to extrapolate or expound or whatever it is you need to do, you're welcome to do that. I will play the better ones on the air. So we got that. It's we got live phones after this. So we're taking the rest of this week off. Sorry. For Thanksgiving. No one's watching or listening anyway. Normally I would have taken the time off too, but I was sick about a month ago and we missed too many shows. I didn't want to do that. And when we're coming back on Monday, December 1st. That's a week from tonight. Jonathan Lockwood's going to be our guest, military strategist, because supposedly on Thursday they're either going to approve this Ukraine-Russia peace deal or they aren't. And this is Jonathan's specialty. And if you listen to this, watch the show before, he's a regular here. He's basically our military go-to guy, is basically what he is. And either way, we're going to want to talk about what's going on. He has a podcast that's got an enormous amount of buzz. It's called, we call it, and most people call it the Ukrainian Show, but it's actually called Ukraine, Russia, China. That's actually the name of it. And the reason it's gotten so much buzz is because one of the three panelists, one of the regulars, is actually broadcasting from Ukraine, from Kiev. And the other one, other than Jonathan, Sasha Stone, he's Ukrainian, but he's in Canada. He's coming from Canada. Don't just the Canadians. They actually have a country up there. I worked in Canada for a year about 1 million years ago when I was a baby, And, the interesting thing about that is that the longer I was there, the more I started to realize it was a foreign country. You go there and at first, especially if you're not in, Quebec, if I was in Ontario, if you go there and everyone's basically speaking English, and it looks like another city in America. But the longer you're there, the more you realize it's a foreign country. It's kind of goofy. And also, by the way, Montreal is one of the most fabulous cities, I don't know in the world, but certainly in North America. It's like being in Paris, basically, kind of. And the real amazing thing is that me being from Minneapolis, Montreal is an awful lot like Minneapolis, and especially the weather is too. They have brutally hot summers and really cold winters. It's kind of like here, and so there was that to relate to also. But at any rate, enough about me. I tell you what, we're gonna play a 12-second bumper, and you're gonna hum along with the tune here. And when we're done, Dr. Gilda is going to be on here, and she will fascinate you. Trust me. Joining us from her home office in Scottsdale, Arizona, psychologist to the stars. That's what I'll call you, Dr. Gilda Carle, more known as Dr. Gilda. Hi.
Hi. I'm not a psychologist.
You aren't a psychologist.
I'm a psychotherapist and a relationship strategist.
Okay. All right. So now that's the thing. You got to explain the difference between. I don't know the difference between a psychologist and a psychotherapist.
Nobody does. A psychologist has one license, and a psychotherapist has another. Depending upon what she does.
But you are a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
Yeah.
I'm a PhD. I'm an educator, and I am a strategist. I'm a relationship strategist. I go into companies and analyze why their bottom line is shaky, and I deal with people individually to find out why they're not achieving what they want to achieve, whether it's love or work goals or whatever it is. It's all strategy. It's all dependent upon Sun Tzu's Art of War, and that's what I use to base my Real Men Don't Go Woke book.
Yeah, I have. We'll put it on the screen here. Here's a copy of your latest book. You've written 19 of them. This is the 19th, right?
This isn't. Yeah. Wow, you know everything. Yes.
I know. I know my shit.
Congratulations.
and this came out in November of last year, right? And we were just trying to figure out when the last time you were on the show, I think was in like February or something like that. I can't remember. It's after the book came out. I know that.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember either. Neither of us can remember.
Well, we had a good time. I remember that.
Say again?
But we had a good time.
Yes, yeah, we did. We did have a good time. I remember.
People usually remember the feelings that they got from something. They don't remember the exact things that a lot of people remember that I don't remember.
Kimberly, our booker, suggested we put you on again, and this is really true, Gilda. I was thinking about you. I woke up one morning and said, we should have Gilda Carle on again. And then 2 days later, Kimberly said, maybe we should put Gilda Carle on again. Yeah, okay. I don't know how that works. Don't ask me.
Oh my God, how interesting! It's incredible. Sometimes I think about somebody and they suddenly call me. And this has been happening more often lately than in the past. So I don't know whether I'm developing witch-like qualities, or I don't know what's happening. But thank you, God, I've got them.
Gilda, that was actually on my list of things to ask you about today. We have a lot of paranormal people on the show, and there's a lot of scientific evidence now that this synchronicity stuff is actually legitimately real. That it's not it's not in our minds.
I believe that personally because I've experienced it. But if I were to go out and talk about it, they'd probably want to shoot me as quickly as they want to shoot me for Real Men Don't Go Woke. So, I mean, everybody has an opinion.
That's kind of sad, but I know you're right. I know that's true, especially in what you do. If you start talking about this stuff, no one will take you seriously.
That's right. Some president of a company said, "You believe in that? You have a PhD, a legitimate PhD."
Right.
So I only tell the people who understand. That's it.
Yeah. That's the very reason I talk about it here, because it's entertaining. I can get away with it. you know. So, well, but I think people should know about this stuff. I mean, science has
I
has
agree.
now, verified a lot of stuff that people used to think was bullshit. So, you know,
I absolutely agree.
so and the other thing that was, as you're a spokesman for the International Council of Men and Boys, and I
Yes.
went to their website, which is at menandboys.net.
Yes.
Very nice domain you got there. And so,
Yeah.
who do I see on one of the pages about us? Edward Bartlett, and Edward was on the show like 3 weeks ago about,
Oh, well, he's
something completely different. It had nothing to do with this at all. Yeah, so I was just
so interesting. Well, he's our leader. He's the one who grabbed me and said, "How would you like to be spokesperson for the International Council for Men and Boys?" I said, "Well, that's going to be unique." And because I'm a female, and it's so interesting. That was a brilliant idea of his, because men and boys' health affects women so deeply, and people don't recognize that. There are some people who run what's going on here? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
We just love computers, don't we? Okay.
Yeah.
And there are
It's
some
amazing
people,
that any of this works, but go ahead.
who run men's organizations who don't want to talk to a woman. Well, what's that going to do for them? How is that going to help them grow? So I've met all kinds, and it's very interesting. Maybe that will be my next book.
Yeah, well, there's something I got on my notes here about here. Let me hold on. Let me actually pull it up.
Okay.
Well, I was going to tell you about. So here's a quote from the blurb for your book. It takes a new brand of male strength that uses intellect and vulnerability, and that's like an offhand phrase. But you know what that made me think of, Gilda? The thing is, I'm a straight man. I've been married 36 years, but the thing is, I had an active dating life, and you know what I learned while I was dating, and what most straight men learn sooner or later: women say they like vulnerable men, but they actually don't.
Well, a lot of what you're saying is true. They say they want a man to be honest and open and transparent, but don't you tell them anything that's negative. If they say, "Do you like this dress on me?" and you say, "No, I don't think it works too well," and the woman will go crazy. So much for transparency.
Gilda, there's no right answer to that question. You can't. Nothing you say will work.
Oh, you're dead.
That's right. That's right. But I do have a point, don't I? It's like women really don't like men. Say they want their men to cry, but when they actually cry, they don't like it.
I know. I've heard from lots of women that they did not like it. One woman said it was during Christmas or some holiday, and this man started to cry. A man she was dating. He started to cry because he missed his former wife who had died. And she said, "Oh, that was such a turnoff." And I said, "But he's real. He's transparent." "Well, I didn't like that," she said. I said, "Then what do you want?"
Well, that's kind of interesting though, because you're dating him. Now he's comparing you to his ex-wife or late wife or whatever. I don't know that. That's, I don't know.
Well, that's something we all have to get over when we're getting older and we're dating older people. I mean, listen, you want people in your life who have had experiences. You want people in your life who can contribute something to your life because they have experienced these things. But don't contribute too much, is the response from some of these people.
You have a really good point, though, because people are living longer and longer, and the chances of you being married to one single person your entire lifespan is dropping, if only because of that, for no other reason.
Yes. So, I mean, this is something we all have to get used to and accept the fact that he has a past, and so do you. And when you talk about it, you bring it up, you're honest, you're transparent. It's not necessarily a comparison, but it is. I don't know why the screen keeps going off, but
I'm still here.
Do you see me?
Yep, I see you. Yeah.
You see me, and my screen keeps going
the
down.
light changed. Now the light's better.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But you have to accept the fact that we have pasts, and it's the pasts actually that make us richer. And if you can get off your haughtiness about, "Oh, well, I didn't want to hear about her, the dead one," No, that's not the way it works. It's because this woman was in his life. It's because this woman came out of nowhere in your life and then passed, that he is now available for you. And that makes him richer, having experienced that. So it's a way in which you perceive these things, and you just have to accept things rather than expect things. And that's one of my Gildagrams.
Oh,
Accept rather than expect.
that's good. That's good. That's memorable.
I hope so. It's a Gildagram.
So, all right. So now I had a thought. Now it's left, and that's because I'm 70 years old. That's the reason. What the hell? Okay, so no, let me get my shit together. I actually had an interesting question. About okay, so here it is. So people, you're talking about, like, in this case, like, he's had experiences. I'm starting to think that one of the reasons people have conflicts is because different people, it's not so much that they have different experiences, but they have a different number of experiences. And here's the analogy I'll use. So I have a friend, he's an entrepreneur, and he's started and sold and failed numerous companies, right? But every single time he does that, he has another experience. He learns something or something, right? Well, it is for him. But the thing is, a lot of people, I also have friends who have the same job for 30 years, and they don't necessarily go through that cycle of whatever you want to call it. I mean, you're the psychotherapist. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. You should say that, because there's one brand of person who likes that kind of security in the same job for a lot of years. It's another brand of person who likes the ups and the downs and the emotional turmoil and the chaos of having entrepreneurship. And I dated a lot of entrepreneurs in the past, and I just sucked up all this information. I learned so much from these guys. They were educators to me. And I was very grateful for all the knowledge that I got.
I don't want to imply the fact that the person who's had a job for 30 years any lesser of a person. You're right. But the thing, my problem is, you put these two people in a room, and a lot of times they can't relate because of that.
Well, that's unfortunate for them, because there's richness on both sides that each one can grasp.
So I know you've done a lot of work with business strategy. You're going to businesses, right?
Yeah, on Wall Street.
Yeah. Okay. So are you brought in mostly to just pretty much expand the bottom line, or actually to solve interpersonal conflicts, or both?
Well, this is the interesting part. Every time I'm called into a company, and it's usually Fortune 500 companies who call me in, they say, well, this isn't working and this isn't working. So I say, let me gather information, and I interview people, and I find out what is really going on in the company. And it is always, without exception, and I've been doing this for years and years and years, it is always the problem of an interpersonal relationship that is muddying up the waters. And once we find what that is, and once we clear the deck, everything runs smoothly and the bottom line goes all the way up. I was in one company, 55 Wall Street, and I was doing this. And at first I said to the director, who was unsure about whether or not he wanted to hire me, I said to him, I guarantee that when they are finished with the program I will develop specifically for you, when people are finished with this, they will love coming to work. They'll feel much better about themselves. And he turned to me and he said, honestly, I don't care how they feel about themselves. And I, in all my moxie, said, yes, you do. What happened is that we waited a few days. All of a sudden, he sends me a 6-figure check. He said, get started. Okay, I did. And over the course of a period of time that I had developed this program, things were changing. Things were changing markedly, to the point that this was one division in this ginormous company, and every other division in that building said, we want you to do for us what you did for them, because the bottom line soared. It was an interpersonal relationship issue that was muddying up all the channels.
Was it two single people? Was it just one single relationship that was screwing it up?
Well, each one that I got into was different.
Uh-huh.
And when we found out what the cause was, when I found out whether I wasn't popular for a little bit of time, but boy, what a difference it made. And people were walking around the office smiling and happy, and so much happier that they had made some changes in their demeanor, in the way they worked.
But
And the person who said to me, the director who said to me, I don't care about how people feel about themselves, suddenly was on my side. And he then went on to hire me to do media training, because he had to do some major media in front of major outlets. And he trusted me at that point, because even though I said, this is not going to hurt, he didn't believe me. I said, you are going to be transparent to your audiences. And as a result, let's see what happens.
But I'm sure that when he says to you, when he says, I don't care how people feel, what he's talking about is the fact I only care about the bottom line.
The bottom line, of course. But in order to get to the bottom line, you have to care about how people feel. I teach MBA courses these days, and I've been doing that for years and years. And I keep driving home the fact that it's not just the bottom line, it is what contributes to getting to the bottom line.
Yeah. So now my experience working in companies, and this is not people think this isn't fair, but this is what I've actually observed. And that is, most of the time when there's interpersonal conflict, the problem isn't that two people disagree. The problem is that one person's nuts. You have a reasonable person and an unreasonable person. That's basically
what are you going to do with that? You can either shoot the person or remove the person.
Well, am I right about that? Is that
well, there are people who see things a little bit differently than
oh, you put that so well.
Well, what my job is as a performance coach in an organization is to get into the company and say, I think I'm not going to make some of you happy. I think I'm going to make a lot of you happy. But in between all of this, we have one goal, and that's the bottom line of the organization. And if you're having personal issues, if you're having whatever you're having, come to me, talk to me. I want to hear about this, and I will individually help you solve whatever's going on in your life, so that we can then continue to deal with the bottom line. Now, that's what you're here for. A company's not here to have picnics and happy birthdays. I mean, they're not here to satisfy you. They are here to make a profit. And they're not going to make any profits if the bottom line is faltering because of some idiocy going on with people. And it's the people that get us to the bottom line and achieving our goals.
This guy you said that you hired you for some media counseling. Was it crisis management? Was that what it was?
To these guys, everything is crisis management.
That's why I asked. That's the reason I asked. Yeah. So what do you tell people about crisis management? What do you tell them?
Well, we get to the heart of the problem to see that this is not really as crisis as you think it is. That, a lot of everything in life has to do with our perceptions of what is going on around us. And once you can eliminate the negativity of those perceptions, you can start living and interacting on a much more positive level.
So, Gilda, what's a legitimate crisis? If the CEO is married and sleeps with somebody,
well, we've seen a lot of those things in the news, of course.
Yeah. But is that a crisis? I don't even know.
Well, it could be. You see, it depends upon what happens. What is the company's culture? Do they allow this? Do they have to ask permission? I mean, what is happening in that environment? What allowed that? What made you think you had the right to? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of these questions that are, we can't ask these questions. I ask them. I started my career as a teacher in the South Bronx. That was the worst area anywhere. And these kids were bringing guns to school and being arrested for murder and whatever. And I wanted to do something that was different, that was significantly different. And I learned as much from them as they learned from me. I learned street smarts. And it's so interesting that life takes us into a whole different path than what we think. And from the street smarts that I had learned, I applied those into corporate America. And when I walked in, it wasn't just, okay, here's this professor from an accredited university who's going to be talking to you about how to build teams, how to, all this stuff that's in the textbooks.
Yeah.
No, I apply. And I learned all of that from teaching in the South Bronx when I was 20 years old. I graduated from college at a very young age. And I started teaching. And these kids they were tough. Some of them are still alive. I mean, a lot of them perished.
Right.
Gang wars and all kinds of things. But some of them are still alive and some of them are still in touch with me. That's shocking. All these years ago.
Talking about this thing about, not wanting to talk about paranormal stuff for your reputation, which I totally understand.
I talk about it anyway.
I totally understand it. I really do. I mean, I have a lot of people on here, that people think are crackpots, but I listen to anybody. But the one thing I have noticed is that, people come on talking about afterlives and the soul. Souls seem to find the information they don't have. I had the same thing. I grew up in a completely non-street smart environment, totally. And slowly over the course of my career, I've gotten pretty street savvy because I had to, and usually because I fucked up. But you're talking. It's the same type of thing.
What happens.
Yeah, people find it.
You know what? You learn more from your mistakes than you learn from the non-mistakes.
Yeah.
The more mistakes you make, you go, what am I supposed to learn from this? And that's the way I train all of my clients. Stop complaining and saying, oh, why me? Poor me. If you complain and remain, you're not in enough pain. That's another Gildagram for you.
That's good. I like that too.
Thank you.
You post these on your website? You should.
Different ones apply to different things.
Yeah, but that's actually absolutely true. It truly is.
Instead, I say to people, and I train all my clients, whether they're CEOs or presidents of countries, it doesn't make a difference. I train all of them to say, not why this happened to me, but what am I supposed to learn from this? Once you understand what you're supposed to learn from something, you have that much greater understanding about life.
Yeah. So, I failed a lot, but and I've learned a lot from that. But the thing that is truly painful, losing the money.
Oh, well, that'll help you recover.
In the long run, that's way worse than the emotional toll. It actually is. I lost the money.
But even from that, there is so much to be gained, so much to be understood.
Yeah. Well, I'm laughing anyway, so I guess that's good. I don't know. So you're also a spokesman for the Domestic Abuse and Violence International Alliance.
Yeah. And what we're finding, I mean, in our organization, there are all these PhDs who do tremendous amounts of research. And we're finding that, believe it or not, it's not women who are the majority of people being beaten up by the opposite sex. It's men. And they will not say a word. They will not say anything.
That's the reason Ed Bartlett came on the show.
Yep.
He's with an organization called SAVE. And
that's our sister organization. So I know all this.
Okay. Yeah. So he says the same thing, that actually it's more women beat up men than the opposite.
But nobody would know that because the men aren't talking. They're so ashamed also. And that's another reason why I wrote Real Men Don't Go Woke. They're ashamed to speak their truth. How can you be ashamed of something that happened to you if you're looking to understand it and get on to the next chapter of your life? You have to talk it.
the generalization, the stereotype would be, well, I'm a big, huge, strong man. Here's this tiny little woman who pummeled the crap out of me, and it's like, people don't want to admit to that.
Yeah, but you have to admit it to somebody, even if it's your pastor, even if it's your therapist. It doesn't make a difference. You admit it to somebody so that you can do the healing. You know, you can forgive, forgive, forgive. Just don't forget so you don't end up in the same boat again with similar people. And that's what I'm finding. A lot of our men are miserable. They get divorced. They connect again with the same kind of women. Our men have never been trained to differentiate between good, real women and the mean girls.
No, you're absolutely correct. You can't stress that hard enough. It's like, yeah, I wasted a lot of my life paying attention to women that didn't deserve the attention. I
Right.
really, and not only that, I know a lot of men who've done the same thing. But the thing is, it is hard to recognize, especially when you're young and kind of naive. It's hard to recognize that stuff.
Well, it really, I work with a lot of men individually, privately. They come to me on my website, drgilda.com, and they sign up for sessions with me to understand how come I was so abused by this woman. Now it's just me and them, private, online, on Zoom, or on the phone. They don't even have to reveal much else. They want to know how to stop the pattern. And I think these guys are way ahead of the ball, because these guys have admitted there is a pattern.
Right.
It's the ones who don't. And
Right.
they keep getting married and divorced and married and divorced, and there's lots of kids involved. And so they suffer. Oh, it's not a good situation.
No, but I mean, you have what you said, I think, is master the obvious stuff. You can't address a problem until you first acknowledge that you have it,
Yeah.
So you got to give props to people just for doing that, if nothing else.
But we have trained our men to suppress their emotions. Don't show emotions. Don't say, I am feeling pain from this, that, or the other. Don't say that. Well, if you don't, at least to yourself, then you will repeat it. I guarantee.
You've got a good point here, and this is a trick I've learned, but I can't explain it. And that is, there's a difference between expressing your emotions and being vulnerable. And it's a fine line, but there is a difference.
And there's a difference between being vulnerable and being, I can't go on. Oh my God, what am I going to do with my life now? That is a big difference.
Yeah, so I suppose there is. That was good.
I was dating an Army combat pilot, and I said, I find you most attractive when you're most vulnerable. He said, what? That's not complimentary. I said, but it is. He didn't want to hear that.
Yeah, well, that gets down to stereotypes again. I mean, people in the military, and the thing is, my experiences as a general rule, they are really like that. It's not just some Hollywood stereotype, they really like that.
And so they suffer.
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, look, you look at the statistics, and men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women. Testosterone levels are going down. Y chromosome is thinning out. Over the course of 11 million years, there may not be men on the planet if this continues. I mean, there are lots of things going on, and men are finally admitting that they are lonely and they are depressed. And one guy said to me, I am so glad you wrote this book, because I didn't know there are so many depressed celebrities out there. I use celebrities as all my examples in here. Nobody wants to hear about legislators. They don't know their names. They don't care about them. But the ones they know, Simon Cowell had a terrible problem with depression until he went on medication. Until they understand they are not alone, they will ignore it. Oh, no, it can't be happening to me. But once they understand that this is a syndrome that's happening to a lot of men, then they reach out, and first they thank me. Second, they get help. And that's where we're trying to go with all of this.
Well, the thing about using celebrities as examples is that Simon Cowell is a $150 million and he's still depressed.
And he's still depressed. Yeah, well, that so much for thinking money is the answer to
Right,
everything.
right. Well, that's the truth. I mean, your money is not the answer to anything, really.
It's not.
You know?
It's not. As a matter of fact, all the statistics show us that money is not a motivator. And if you think you're going to be motivated by making $400 billion and that alone, good luck.
Yeah. Actually, that funny you should mention that. I put this on the list of things to ask you about. And that brings us to Elon Musk. And that brings us to AI. So first of all, I'm an old fart fogey, and I can't buy this thing about AI relationships at all. I just can't buy it. That's not a relationship to me.
That's another chapter in my book. This is the way men are dropping away from intimacy with women. They are in love with a bot. They are in love with their plastic sex doll that they created to their specs. They are in love with somebody they've never met online, but they're continuing to correspond with. They are in love with love because everybody wants to feel love. They want to feel that they've received love. They want to feel like they're giving love, but they're not real women. And what we found, all the studies have shown that as soon as guys, young guys who couldn't have a passionate relationship with a real woman, as soon as they got rid of the gaming and the porn and all the artificial things that they were looking at, they were able to have a love relationship again. And they all agreed it was so much better than the make-believe.
But do you think it's actually just a problem mostly of men? I see women marrying these bots. I mean, I see stories in the British tabloids and stuff.
I didn't say it was only men. It's a predominance of men, but it's women too. Yeah. Everybody's disgusted with the last person they went out with or married. That's it. I'm leaving this whole thing. I'm not getting involved anymore. So in order not to get involved anymore, what do? They find artificial means of satisfaction, but it's artificial. And when they wake up in the morning, if they have a headache, they can't ask that artificial entity to bring them a pill and some water to get rid of their headache.
Well, I hate to get blunt about this, but you can't really, in my mind, you can't really have sex with those things either. I mean,
yes, you're absolutely right. But whatever minimal sex they have, that seems to be not satisfying, but enough satisfaction.
I mean, this is, the thing about male-female relationships is that this goes back millennia. There's really no substitute for it. There really isn't. I mean, it's, you can get your sex doll, you can get, you can even hire some woman, but it's still not going to be the same. It's just not.
You'd be better off having a puppy right next to you and having the puppy lick your face than anything else, because that's a real entity.
Yeah.
But these make-believe things, and some of these people have spent like $20,000 on buying a sex doll.
Yeah.
And they want the boobs to be one size and the waist to be another size and the height to be another size. And they make these things up. And the beauty of life.
Gilda, that's the reason I brought this up is that, I mean, we're only probably 5-10 years away from fully autonomous AI sex robots, the real dolls, it's up to actually be moving and talking, and then, so, I mean, Christ, and I find that's just terrible. Because the thing is, the robot's going to do whatever you want. That's not a real relationship.
Except what you really want.
Let me tell you something. My wife does not do whatever I want. She doesn't.
Well, that's the beauty of being married.
That is the beauty of it. You're absolutely right.
You want to kill her? How come you're not doing what I tell you to do? But that passion demonstrates how committed you are emotionally to this person. You're not going to get this angry at somebody on the street.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Carl Reiner. He just passed away. I think he died like in 99 or something. Like that. And he was married to the same woman for 60 years. And he said, God in heaven, sometimes I just want to kill her. And I'm thinking, well, that's a healthy relationship.
That's right, because you don't emote that way with a person on the street who you'll never see again. Who
Yeah,
cares?
that's right. I know. I know. So what do you think about this AI stuff, like in general in business? I mean, we already get to the point. I have a lot of people on the show to talk about this. We've already got to the point now, just a few weeks ago, where across the tech landscape, they've asked these computers to shut themselves down, and they've refused. I don't know if you know this. You know,
They have a mind of their own.
that's the fear that's starting to happen.
Oh, you're not supposed to have any mind. This brings us back to, who do you want to control your life? I mean, is this the ultimate? That is so much better when the computer does it. So you say, well, she made me do it. The computer, it made me do it, But this is all part of taking responsibility for everything that you do, every action that you have, and every emotion that you emit. You are in charge of you. A lot of people don't like that.
Yeah. No, they don't. They don't like that at all. And I find that kind of amazing too, because you think that in a democracy or in a free society, that would be the goal, but some people don't like it.
Well, I thought a lot of things should have been different. I don't understand a lot of things that are going on in the world occasionally. And I just scratch my head and I say, how? Why? What is wrong with this? What's wrong with these people? There are just so many issues that come up naturally, and you want to be there for the issues and process the issues out of your life. But if you leave it to the computer to do that for you, well, good luck. Then you are waiting for the computer to take control. It's always waiting for somebody else to take control of you. Is that okay? Most people out there, when they're asked it that way, will say, no, that's not okay.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the small minority of people who actually say that is okay. I know, I don't know if you know this, like years ago, General Motors started this division called Saturn, where they made these cars, and they made them totally differently. Instead of putting it on an assembly line, they actually had small teams of people, about 24 people would assemble an entire car, right? And so they culled through their employment people and said, look, this is going to be a different scenario. We're not going to be you're actually going to kind of be on your own here. We want to see how this works. And about 10% of the people who signed up to do it got out because they didn't like the idea that no one was telling them what to do. It was only 10%, but still, you think that
seems like a large percentage, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That's the very reason I brought it up. You'd think that,
I would think maybe 2% of the population.
yeah,
But a lot of people, and this gets back to your original question about, people who have jobs for 30 years. Those are the people who like to be directed, like to be told what to do. They like to clock in, clock out, and they know that after a day is over, they don't have a worry in the world. I can appreciate that some days in my life.
Right, I can too. Not to mention the fact, in my experience, those people have very stable home lives, and they've raised great families, and and that's a worthy goal. I mean, that's kind of the idea of humanity. So
I agree.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But getting back to what I was saying, it is different. So, you get different people. And even like what you're talking about right now, that brings us to Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday. This whole thing about, you get together with your relatives. Now, I don't have any trouble with this. People know I do this, and this show used to be political. Now it isn't anymore because I got tired of it. But the thing is, I mean, everyone knows my point of view, and I don't so I just don't talk about it. I don't have any problem with it at all. And, it's like, I don't understand why people think they have to talk about it.
Perhaps to start chaos, perhaps for them to feel bigger and better than they are, because look what I started. Peace is a very beautiful thing. I like to have peace.
Yeah.
I don't like fighting. I don't like to be in an environment where there's a lot of arguing. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. So, but everybody's different. Some people love it. Some people will attend these riots and burnings of cars and all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah.
And yet, that's not for me. So, to each his own.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and just like if I might have a little confessional here. It's not for me either. And when it comes to doing what I'm doing right here, right now, that's not necessarily the people who get attention in my business are the people who embrace confrontation. I don't like to do it. I don't. I just don't.
Yeah, but there are some people who just love it.
Yeah.
And feel as though, look what I started. Boy, am I powerful. And
Yeah.
that's the unconscious coming into reality. Oh, aren't I terrific? Look what I started. I would rather walk in, smile, walk out, smile, and end it. If there are places, you get to a particular point in your life, and if there are places I don't want to be, if there are people that I don't want to hang with, I don't go. And that's just fine.
Yeah, but why should you? I mean,
That's right.
what do you say about the people who do go to things where they don't like people? I mean,
Well, that's unfortunate because then they have to live with feeling miserable about them being there.
yeah, but it gets back to what you're saying. It's such a vicious cycle. Then they do feel miserable about why they went, and then they keep doing it, and they feel miserable.
No, I can't be everyone's therapist.
No, you can't. You can't. Hey, I want to end with this. Just I put this on the list here because I really wanted to know your thoughts about this. So, this is out of the New York Post, but it brings up a mind. But it's about a bunch of homeowners that bought a new house and they found out the house was haunted. Now, I don't know if you know this.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, there's I think it's in 26 states, more than half now have laws that says you can't sell your house if it's haunted without telling the buyer first. I don't know if you know that. Half of them have this law. But then the thing is, I'm thinking, what defines haunted?
That's a blank on my part. I have, haunted for one person may not be haunted for
That's
another.
what I was thinking, right? Yes,
Falls off the wall, does that mean that must be haunted? If you see what you imagine to be a ghost, is it your imagination? Did you have too much to drink? Did you smoke something weird?
Right.
Is that you, or is it wishful thinking on your part? I mean, different strokes for different folks.
I know. I just find it just incredible, just amazing. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You know that, right?
Likewise, Jim, you're a honey.
Oh, you are too. You are too. So you're going to have a good Thanksgiving, I take it, right?
Peaceful and quiet. Yes.
Good. That's good. That's good. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Be well, be healthy, and enjoy 2026.
Thanks, Gilda. We'll see you. That's Gilda Carle, Dr. Gilda. She's been on like a zillion television shows. I don't know if you recognize her. She was on Oprah. She had her own show for a while on some cable network. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I like talking to her. She is a good egg, as they say. All right, so part 2 of the show. Normally we do the Gymcast here, and I got a couple of stuff to fill in, but we did you see how slickly I did that? We have the ticker running at the bottom of the screen. You can call in 325-225-5546. Love to talk to you. You can send us a text message at 408-458-5088. It's all up and running. Technology is an amazing thing. So believe it or not, I think we got a call.
Hey, Jim, this is Nick.
Hey, Think, how you doing?
Great. How's it going? Did I call in too early?
No, you called in at exactly the right time. I don't know if you're watching or listening or whatever, but no, your timing was perfect. How you doing?
Yeah, I was pretty good. I was listening to the show. I don't know. Do you pronounce her name Gilda? Gilda?
No,
Pretty
Gilda.
interesting
Yeah,
interview.
Gilda. Yeah, she's been around forever, man. She's like, I mean, she was on Oprah and stuff. It's like she's done a lot of things, and she's written 19 books. I've written,
19 books.
yeah,
Wow.
I've written none.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Did you read the?
no, go ahead.
Did you read her last book? That
No, I'm sorry.
Men Don't Vote?
I can't lie. Did not actually read her book. No, I didn't. So
I would really like to know a woman's perspective on that. Why men shouldn't go woke. I'm a man. I know why, but to hear a woman's perspective on that would be interesting.
well, did you hear in the interview where I told her, um, about the fact that women say they want vulnerable men, but then when you're actually vulnerable, women don't like it, and she agreed with me. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah,
Yeah.
she said that's true. Yeah, she said women say they want to see their men cry, and then when their men cry, they get pissed off, and they do.
Yeah, I actually think that's why men don't cry.
Yeah, I do
Because
too.
Once
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
once you do, yeah, women think you're weak. I think women don't want men that are weak. And I know the movies make it romantic where the man cries and the woman hugs him and takes care, but in reality, I don't think it's like that. As soon as a woman sees a man cry, the majority of the times, they'll say like you're a weak guy or
Yeah.
stop it or slap him or something.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. She talked about this, and we had this guy named Edward Barnett on a couple of weeks ago, and about the fact that in reality, I don't know if you know this, more men are pummeled from domestic violence than women. That's the actual statistic.
Oh wow, yeah. I would agree with that, but I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, no one does. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So are you saying that men get affected by family issues at home or dysfunction at home more than women do? Is that what you're saying?
no. They're talking about literal physical violence. That men are beat up more by women more than women are beat up by men. And it's not
Really?
and it's not really reported, and it's like 60-40. It's not a big huge difference, but the thing is still it exists, and it isn't reported because most men do not want to run to the police and say, my girlfriend beat me up, so they don't actually report it, but in reality that seems to be the case.
Well, is that a new statistics like that just started happening recently, or has it always been?
No,
like
I don't
that?
think I don't. Maybe it's been relatively recent. I mean, so this Barnett guy, he was on here, and you can, if you want to look up the archive, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and he runs an organization called Save, and that organization is based on that very statistic that men are more victims of domestic violence than women. So I don't know where they get that. I don't even really know where they get that statistic, whatever. But Dr. Gilda brought that up in the interview. She said the same thing. Men are actually more they're victims of violence than women are. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to tell you, I've never seen a relationship where a man got beat up by a woman. I've been in relationships where the girl would beat me, like hit me, but when it gets to the point where she's overdoing, I stop it, and then she'll realize, that's enough. Like I've been with girls that drink a lot, and when girls get drunk, they act stupid.
God, they do.
And I couldn't take it with this one girl, and I stopped hitting me. But when I put my foot down, she just stopped. I never seen any relationship where a guy, put his foot down and the girl kept going. I mean, that's pretty crazy to hear that that's an actual thing.
Yeah, that is an actual thing. Yeah. Now I don't know if they're actually counting the fact that when you talk about your girlfriend's pummeling you, I don't know if they're counting that. I don't really know. I don't. But I'm going to share something with you, a little detail of my life here. This is going back a million years ago. I remember I went out with this woman. I kind of liked her, and she got pretty drunk. We went to the bars, and she got pretty drunk. And I drive her home, and she says to me, she gives me big kisses. You want to come upstairs? And I said, I don't think tonight's a good time. And she said, oh, okay, all right, that's fine. So she went upstairs. And then I'm talking to her on the phone. She said, I wanted to sleep with you and you didn't want to. Why not? And I said, well, it's because you were drunk. I said, I'm okay with sleeping with drunk girls, but not the first time. And she thought, well, God, that's like men don't do that. I don't.
Wow.
Is that was, but that's my thing. I'm not gonna sleep with a girl when she's the first time when she's drunk. I don't mind the third time and not the first time. It's like I just won't. I like I just want her to be there because then I want to make certain it's legit. Yeah,
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God, Jim! You just open up like this door into your personality. I didn't know that you were that type of guy.
Yeah.
You must have had a really good upbringing
Yeah.
to be like that. I would have jumped in like right now. Let's do it.
I know. I'm terrible. I'm awful. Well, my mother's been on the show. She's 101 years old. She was from the old country. I was raised in a European household, so yeah, I'm kind of old school, I guess. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. She's on the phone with me. She's mad. She's actually mad. I wanted to sleep with you. You wouldn't. Why not? All
Jim,
right.
how many times have you been married?
Only once.
Is this just
Only once. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell me only once. I knew you were going to say only once.
Yeah.
You got
It's been 36 years.
Good.
The wife has not watched this even 5 minutes of the show in 300 episodes. That she hasn't seen it at all. She's not gonna watch. She doesn't care, but she lets me do it. So that's cool. I'm good with
She
that.
lets you do it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's the type of personality that keeps a woman. Most like a personality like mine that's pretty tough. It's harder to keep women these days. Modern day women, I think, are just so so strong with their feminist beliefs that it's difficult to keep them. Just as tough as a man.
I could not agree with you more. I think that's absolutely true. You're absolutely right.
I gotta tell you this, Jim. I'm not a bad looking guy. I'm okay looking, right? I have a friend that's terrible looking, and there was this girl that was dating me, and I just didn't like the way her personality was. She drinks a lot. She disappears, and so I ignored her, and she jumped to my friend who is not good looking. He's not fit. To me, he's not good looking because he's not fit. And she jumped with him. I think he's one of those sleaze bucket types guys. Like if he sees a girl in distress, he'll like smooch around and eventually get her in bed. And I think that's what had happened. Like he knows me, and as soon as he knew that me and this girl had an issue, he jumped on her right away. And I knew that happened, and I ignored her, and she just kept hanging out with him. And I think they're in deep love right now.
Oh my God!
Even if I were to want her back, I can't. I think she loves this guy so much because how much he caters to her. Like anything that she wants, he'll give it to her.
But
he knows that she's out of his league.
Do you think that he loves her? I mean, you said he was kind of a sleazeball, so a lot of guys, you think he loves her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because he's a sleazeball doesn't mean he doesn't.
No.
I think he's a sleazeball. Like maybe I chose the wrong word. To me, he's a sleazeball because he's my friend, and he took like this girl that I'm with.
Well, yeah,
to me, that's a sleazeball.
That's a pretty sleazy behavior. I agree, totally.
Yeah. But he got her, and he kept her because he really liked her, and he's not sleeping around with other women or anything. So I don't think he's a sleazeball because of that.
Oh.
And other people tell me he's a gentleman. So he got the girl, and he treats her like a gentleman. So I can't complain. He's treating her real good. And the fact that she loves it, I mean, so I don't think it comes to looks. I don't think it has anything to do with looks.
Not at all. It doesn't come to looks at all. No, I mean, the trophy wife with a really ugly rich guy is that's like a stereotype in America. I mean, that happens all the time. You see it. Now, okay, maybe the guy has money, but you see that with guys who like your friend who don't have money too. You see a lot of very attractive women with really, really not particularly good-looking men. I mean, yeah, they don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't like the Gilda was on your show. She was talking about. I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but was she saying that men should be tough, right? Men
Uh,
should be tough to keep a
yeah,
woman. I guess what I'm trying to say is my friend was not tough. I was tough. I kept telling this girl, stop drinking, stop behaving that way. You have to be. I was trying to tell her, you got to eat right, you got to do this, and I was trying to be tough, and I couldn't keep her. But my friend that was being soft and like cater to whatever she wanted, that's what kept her.
yeah,
Does,
but
does that make sense? What I'm
yeah, it
saying?
does. It does think, but there's a thing with that too, and that is, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's like basically you can't change people. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like people only change if they want to change. You can talk to them all they want. Doesn't matter. You know, it's the same way with even with politics. I don't talk to anybody about politics unless I actually think I can change their mind, and that's hardly ever. Hardly ever. It's like because people have their ideas, they just do. So it's like if your girlfriend likes
yeah,
drinking, she's going to probably continue to drink. I don't know. It's like something could maybe get her on the wagon, but it's probably not anything you say. I don't know. That's my personal feeling anyway.
yeah. You're right. Yeah, I've realized that I can't change a person. Like I can, like how you said earlier, where if you feel that you could change a person, you'll continue the conversation about politics with
Yeah.
someone. If you feel that there's a possibility, and I'm starting to realize that now when I talk to someone, and I know that there's no use in continuing this conversation because they're going to always do what they're going to do. Like when I talk to a gambler, no matter how many times I tell them, gambling is bad, you're going to lose all your money. There comes a point where I realize that there's no change in. They're going to be at the casino the next day.
And
So,
it's funny
or
that you should use that as an example because that's one of the worst things. You cannot because gambling is a very rational thing. There's a reason people lose money. The whole thing is mathematically oriented toward the casino. Now you and I know that, but you try explaining that to a gambler, they just won't buy it. They just, you can show them mathematical formulas and all sorts of crap about why it doesn't work, why they're going to lose, and they still won't. They still don't buy it. I don't understand. It's like that's a perfect example.
yeah, yeah, and I use that example because I'm Asian, and most Asian people are addicted to gambling, and that's probably one of the reasons why
Hey,
I'm
think.
trying to
Why do you
stay
think
away from
that is?
Asian girls.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's genetic? I mean, is it kind of like Native American people and alcohol? I mean, why is that?
Yeah, there might be a genetic thing in there. It's so for New Year's in Asian culture, most Asian cultures that I see, you gamble.
Uh
That's
huh.
what you do for New Year's.
Uh huh.
And for birthdays, you get together and you gamble. It's like a fun thing to get together with your family. Like you throw a party for your child, but the adults sit around and gamble. So it might be a cultural thing because of these little things in between, like these
Yeah.
birthday parties, celebrations, all these things, especially holidays. They get together and they gamble.
Do
So
you
I
gamble?
I, I
Think? Are
would think
you? Will you? Do you do it?
no,
No.
no, I will not. That's one thing. So I don't like drugs, and I definitely don't like gambling. I've seen what it did to my family, and I think the only reason why I didn't gamble, and this might be a blessing, is because I lost when I was younger, probably around the age of like 11 or 12. I was on the bus, the school bus, and we were playing. I was playing blackjack with this kid for pennies. We were playing for pennies, and I kept losing. I ended up losing $100.
Holy in
So I just
pennies?
played for
You lost $100 in pennies? Holy shit!
yeah.
Hold,
I didn't pay the guy. I
hold on.
didn't pay the guy because I'm
Think.
only 11 years
That
old. Yeah,
that's 10,000 pennies.
that's right.
Holy shit!
It was always like at first I think I lost like 5 cents. I was like, let's double down. And so it was like 10 cents. And then we doubled up.
And you're
And ever
11?
since that experience, yeah. And ever since that
Okay.
experience, I'm like, you know what? I'm not made for this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
not me.
You did the right thing, I think. That's really amazing. I mean, that's a good story, actually. Though I mean, sorry, I'm laughing at your expense, but it's that you lost like 10,000 times. It's like, God. Okay.
I gotta tell, I gotta tell you, my friends, my Asian friends that are addicted to gambling, they told me that they won, like that they went to a casino and won a lot of money, and that's what sparked them. You know, the
Oh
fact
yeah.
that they won,
Right.
not the
That's right.
yeah, and they're chasing that rush. That's how I see it. I think they're constantly chasing that rush where they win, and honestly, I think sometimes they want to lose. Like they want to lose. If they win so much, I think in their mind they do stupid because I've seen them these people do stupid stuff to lose the money. So I think on purpose they lose. They want to lose. I don't know.
Well,
It's
don't you
some
think? Don't you
subconscious.
think that the casinos almost count on people winning big at the beginning? Because you're right. That's how they get hooked.
Yeah, yeah. I would I think casinos, especially the pit bosses. So my mom and her boyfriend had were worked in the casino. My mom was a dealer, and my and her boyfriend was a pit boss.
Uh huh.
And he would tell me like things like what you just said right there. Like the casinos want people to win. Like my I call him my uncle, my mom's boyfriend. He would tell me that, like he knows who's going to keep coming back, and he'll give them like all kinds of like perks, like to get them to come back. You know, like all kinds of like food and hotels and stuff. And he even congratulates them when they win. Like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
how you do it. This he'll give them hints and stuff, but he does this because he knows they're going to come back and lose double or triple,
Did you
and
ever
he
ask
doesn't
him?
care.
Did you ever ask him how we can tell who those people are? I'm really
Oh,
curious.
my mom's boyfriend at the time. He was he. How do I say this? He is the epitome of an Asian gambler. He grew up gambling. According to what he told me, he would play for toothpicks when he was like 4 or 5 years old with his brothers and stuff like that. He was gambling from childhood up.
Uh
He can
huh.
detect it. Have you ever seen that movie Casino, Jim,
Oh
with
yeah, it's one of my
Robert
favorite
De Niro?
movies. Yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, that is a good movie too. It is a good
Yeah.
movie. But Robert De Niro's character, like he had this knack for it. He knew like he was a bookie. He knew the football players, the football teams was gonna. He knew how to balance out. What is that called? Is it called the parlay or the? Uh, there's a term for
Yeah,
this
and I
where you
can't.
give another,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called either.
but he knew how to do it because he would get deep into it. Like he would study the teams and stuff. And I think that's how my uncle did as well. Like he studied people so much that he could read the body language. And I'm pretty sure you could do that too, right, Jim? Because you had said earlier that you know when a conversation is over because I think you
Yeah,
detect
it might be practice, but I
people.
suppose you could say the same thing about De Niro's character in that movie, and it was based on a real person. I can't remember the guy's name, but the thing about especially sports betting or like horse handicapping, there's there's a certain amount of skill that goes to that, and a few people can do it really well. I mean, that guy that I can't remember. I mean, I remember the movie, but the guy that was based on, he made millions of dollars doing that sports betting because he was very,
Yeah,
very good at it. But the problem is most people aren't. And they look at guys like that and say, oh, I can do that. Well, no, you can't.
yeah,
So
that's
then you
right.
go out and you're going to blow $100,000 and then you're going to find out, no, you can't do it. You know, the number of people can do that is relatively rare, but they can. I worked at a racetrack for a years ago, and it was it was the same thing. I mean, there are guys who can really play the horses, who have a kind of a professional knack to do it. They know how to do it, and so but that they're in the minority. Most people just go and blow their money, you know. And then even if they try to do good, they can't. They just can't master it. So I think you're right. It's just a matter of reading people, or or just knowing sports, or there's a feel to it too. I don't quite understand it, but not for me.
Yeah, yeah. I think in terms of talent, I think everyone has the ability, but there's some of us that have a better ability than others. Hey, Jim, here. Let me explain this. I forgot who this boxer said that this one boxer was teaching this other boxer how to dodge a punch.
Uh-huh.
And the guy's like, all you got to do is just look at the guy's hand. You can take a little of 16-year-old girl or 12-year-old girl and pretend to punch her, and she would automatically flinch. It's in our DNA. It's in our subconscious to automatically flinch when somebody's about to punch you.
Yeah.
So just don't worry about what ways to move. Just look at the hand of the person that you're fighting, because it will come subconscious to dodge. And what I'm trying to say is we all have this ability, but there are people that are better at it than others. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know totally what you mean. I totally agree. It's talent is a very, very unusual thing, because
That's right.
I mean, somebody's, you got the populace. Every single person is good at something. A lot of people never figure out what they're good at. That's actually the problem. They never figure it out. So, you have to do a lot of different things to figure out where your place is. But some people are just afraid to do stuff. I don't know, but it's like you got to figure it out, because everybody seems to be good at something. But then again,
do you think that?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, you go ahead.
What were you gonna?
No, you go ahead.
Do you think we are like this is I'm gonna go spiritual. Do you think it's God's gift or like the universe gift to us as a mechanism of evolution?
Well, yeah.
Each one of us has a
right. Yeah, I would. I'd have to say yes. I think, and I don't know if it's even God's gift. This is just simple evolution. It's like everybody seems to be good at something, and that just seems to be the way that society evolves. I heard a really interesting thing about. All right, it sounds like I'm changing the subject, but I'm not. So I'm watching this documentary on aliens, right? Because I watch a lot of them. And so this guy was saying that that supposedly the gray aliens that are abducting people on Earth and giving these medical experiments. So the thing is, why are they doing that? And he said he had been abducted, and he asked them. He actually asked them, "Why do you guys do this?" And they said, and the answer was, he said it was really interesting. The answer he got was in the form of a question, and the question was, "What would you do if evolution went on for so long that it was no longer your friend?" That's what they said, and what they meant was they wanted to explain that their society, their race was 2 million years old, and it was getting to the point where evolution was now trying to kill them. Because it was literally, I don't know if you just run out of combinations of DNA or what the hell it is, but he said that evolution had turned on them, so now they had to artificially prop up their populace with basically fresh meat. I hate to put, and fresh DNA, because evolution was basically trying to strangle them. And I was like, I thought, well, that's really interesting. I could see that happening. I mean, it's like, if you run through, I mean, just think about. Oh, all right. Here's what I know. I was a musician, right? So there's 12 notes in the Western musical scale. There's 110 million combinations of 12 notes. That's not even including rhythm or repetition. Just you got 12 notes. There's 110 million combinations. You stick repetition and rhythm into that too. Now you end up with trillions of combinations. But if you've there's 8 billion people on our planet, and from what I understand, about 1 billion people or 1 trillion people have died. The Homo sapiens have died on planet Earth. Okay, so if you've been around for 2 million years, and we've only been around for like 100,000 years, at some point, literally, you might run out of mathematical combinations of DNA, and then the things just starts to repeat itself, and at that point, you're basically talking about inbreeding.
Wow, that is incredible. I've never thought of it that way, where evolution would would work reverse.
Yeah.
Instead of having talented people to help society, have talented people to destroy society.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild.
It is. Yeah, but
And
you stop and think about
see
it.
that happening, Jim.
Yeah, I can too. That's the thing. And I thought it was really, that also made me, I thought it gave credence to this guy. I didn't think he was making this up. Most people will not think of that sort of concept. I mean, it's like, I think, it's like, I have no idea how many people who say they've talked to aliens actually have. I'm guessing it's way less than half, probably like 5 or 10%. But, somebody does. It's like somebody is. I don't think you could have made that up. I don't think he could have.
No, this is the first time ever I heard of that theory. I'm going to have to check into this even more because I can actually see that happening.
Yeah.
Man, that is pretty incredible where evolution gets to the point because our bodies want to kill us, right? Yeah. We're dying because our body is evolving us to kill us.
Right.
So I could see that as a whole. I got to tell you this quick story, Jim. There was I saw this video where there was this dwarf way back in the days. He's a midget, right? And then he had a tumor in his brain, and the doctors found the tumor, and so they removed the tumor. And what ended up happening to the midget was he started growing.
Oh.
And he grew. I think they said like 7 feet something because they removed that tumor. And when they removed the tumor, they removed something in his brain that was blocking him from growing.
Right.
But once they removed that, so what I'm trying to say is, mentally, I think our minds is trying to kill us, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think our minds working with the universe or whatever. I think at the same time, it also is trying to help society. I think everything in society. As a society from back then till now, we've always had 1 or 2 people in every decade or something that has evolved society even more.
Yeah.
People like Bill Gates, like Steve Jobs,
right.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Totally agree.
These people just popped up out of nowhere and helped us evolve to where we are now.
Supposedly, I don't know how they figure this out but archaeologists say that they have consistent evidence that over the millennia, so we've had basically civilization for roughly 15,000 years, that there's been a consistent trait over all those thousands of years that about 5% of the populace at any one time would be considered gifted, 1 out of every 20 people. I don't know how they figure that out, but supposedly they have.
Yeah. Oh my God, Jim, I think you might have even like the Antichrist. I don't know. I'm going into spirituality.
Okay. No. I got to stop you for a second. You speaking of that, so I'm going to tell you something. I wouldn't have brought this up unless you just brought this up just now. This has occurred to me, and I'm just saying this is it's not even opinion. It's just an idea. I'm starting to wonder if Zoran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, I'm starting to wonder if he's the Antichrist. Because the thing is, he's very slick. He's very, he comes out and, because the thing is, I've always thought if the Antichrist appears, nobody will recognize it at first. People say, well, Trump's evil, all blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, Trump is so out there, he's not going to be the Antichrist because the Antichrist is not going to be that out there. I think I'm starting to think maybe it's this guy. So I don't know. That's just it's not even an idea. I don't know what I'm just throwing that out because you said brought up the Antichrist. So anyway, you go ahead. That's just a bullshit idea.
He is so fake in my eyes, but I could see fakeness. You were talking about street smarts before.
Yeah.
I grew up in the streets. I can tell fakeness.
Yeah.
And he's got that fakeness, but it's so smooth that it looks natural.
Well, right. You're absolutely right. That's the thing. He's very, very smooth. He's a very smooth operator. People buy it. I'm totally with you completely.
Yeah, I've seen video clips where he's with a whole bunch of protesters yelling at ICE. Let these people go. He was part of that. Like he was in the protest yelling at these ICE people.
Right.
and he was just doing it for they say I think it's called clout, or he's just doing it, to get people to like him. But it's
Well,
so fake,
he
in my opinion.
succeeded. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think he's fake as hell, but he succeeded. I mean, you have to give him credit. He ran a masterful campaign for mayor. He really did. I mean, this guy has no business doing this whatsoever, none. And yet he talked a whole bunch of people into voting for him. So, and then I wonder, it's like, well, that's exactly the way the Antichrist would work, isn't it? I'm thinking about that. You got Hitler, and I mean, Hitler kind of did the same thing. I mean, Hitler's political career was only 20 years. It was not very long, but he immediately, right away, I mean, I guess I was just reading about this, about the fact he went to the very first meeting. It wasn't called the Nazi Party then. He renamed it after they made him leader. But he went to the party meeting, and he got up and gave a speech, and right away everybody in the room said he's the guy. Apparently he blew them away with his speaking ability. And he was I mean, I watched those movies. I don't know about you, about him at the Nuremberg rally grounds just railing on everybody, and I look at that and I think, I don't personally don't think that's good public speaking, but my God, they bought it. So he sold it, shit. And you're right about Zorn. Zorn's selling it too. So, but yeah, I totally agree with you. He's like, yeah, he's a very slick operator, and he's phony as hell, but my God, he's good at it.
Yeah. Society these days are just so stupid.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
I think you could, you could just come out and say things, and I think, I don't know what it is. You got to be good looking, I'm pretty sure, because image is very important,
right,
in our modern day society. You have to have a good looking, humble image, like what the movies made a good person to look like. You definitely can't be that witch, like in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
They'll never trust you if you look like her.
Right.
If you look like that, very kind, they'll trust you. The Nazi Party was actually I think they were called the Socialist Party for the Workers, something like the German Socialist Party.
Right.
It's
the National German Socialist Workers Party. That's what it was. Right.
That's right. But eventually, once they elected Hitler, he turned it all around, and he turned it into a dictatorship. Yeah, where his rule is final.
Well, that's the thing. That's really interesting too. So he was elected chancellor of Germany, and after he got elected, he canceled elections, and nobody seemed to mind. That's the thing I don't understand. Can you imagine, like the U.S. president? People say, "Oh, Trump's going to cancel elections." Can you imagine if he actually did it? I mean, he'd be strung up in the Capitol rotunda. I mean, you can't do that. But that's the thing that amazes me. They canceled elections, and they did that over in Gaza too. Hamas, Hamas was actually elected to run Gaza, and after they got elected, they canceled elections. They haven't had an election in 14 years. Nobody seemed to complain. I don't quite understand. It's like, you can't do that. But they did it.
Yeah, I could actually see that happening if someone from I hate to go into politics, but I could actually see that happening if someone from the Democratic Party became president. Hey Jim, did you know Facebook actually paid me $35? Did Facebook pay you?
No thing. Facebook's never going to pay me shit. It's like they have banned me.
Really?
Oh God, I have such a terrible relationship with these people. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not on Facebook because, first of all, they banned me and the show, and then they said I wrote them to appeal. I appealed it, and they said, "Oh, we're really sorry we banned you." So then they reinstated me, but they didn't reinstate the show's page. They wouldn't do that. So it's pretty obvious they were trying to can me. So I don't know. I just know.
The reason why.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought that up is during COVID, the liberal left was controlling the media, right? And Facebook was the media, and you got banned because of that.
Yes, that's correct.
Because of the liberal left controlling.
That's why I did.
But now that, whatever happened with Trump or whatever, I guess someone took Facebook to court, and Facebook is paying out a settlement for anybody that got banned. So I got $35 from the whole thing because I was banned.
Oh, did you got banned too? I didn't know that. You got banned.
Yeah. I got banned multiple times.
What did you?
The only people that I knew got.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was
the
gonna.
only people that I knew that got banned were conservatives, like you and I.
Yeah.
And anyone that spoke against the narrative, we got banned. I got banned for posting. It was Joe Biden's houses. I was posting like Joe Biden had 4 mansions or something like that, and Facebook said it was fake, that these aren't his houses, and then they eventually banned me. That and another post, I think that was the warning I had. And then I posted something about an article saying that we shouldn't have sex because COVID, and I posted that, and then they're like, you're becoming too political, whatever the thing that they said, and they just banned me. They Facebook jail. I wasn't on Facebook for a month.
So you got banned for saying that people shouldn't have sex?
That's right. And it wasn't me. It wasn't my idea. I was just reposting an article from like the New York Times or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's what? Go ahead.
Why did you get banned, Jim?
Oh,
Why did you get banned?
I got banned for talking about climate change. So that banned the hell out of me. So I had Patrick Moore, the great climatologist, on the show. Like within the first 6 months, it's still to this day the single most watched episode of the show, and they banned me ASAP because Moore doesn't believe in climate change, and he's convinced me is bullshit, and it's bullshit. So it's like, that got me. It wasn't even Facebook jail. They cut off my account. They just they canceled it. So so. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, so you say anything they don't like. But I have to ask you though about the thing about Joe Biden's houses. Did you post pictures? Because that is a fact. Maybe because you might have had the pictures wrong, and that's maybe. But I don't even know if they need any justification because you have a fact. He owns 4 mansions. That's true. I mean, there's just no way we get around that. I suppose you could say what the definition of a mansion is, but he owns 4 large homes. Yes, he does. So they can't. That's a true fact. But I thought, well, okay, maybe they said one of the pictures wasn't his house or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. They're gonna just make shit up at that point.
I don't even see what's the big deal of saying that Joe, if he had 4, Joe Biden had 4, 10, 20 mansions. That's my, I'm just saying. But I was reposting an article from like some site or something. I was just reposting that article about Biden, and it was when Biden and Trump were running against each other. And I'm telling you, anything that you said against Trump or anything negative against Biden, it was stuff like that would happen.
Yeah, I
was on Blog Talk Radio all the time, and all the people that I talked to that were on the conservative networks were all banned from Facebook.
Oh, I know that's true.
Because you're
right.
Yeah. So and so going back to like what you said about Hitler and stuff like that, I could, that's basically what I could see the left. If they were to gain power, they would stop elections. They would change the narrative. You can't speak like how like basically turn America into what England is right now.
Yeah.
Where you can't, say certain things. Even online, you can't say it. It's just that's how this country.
I don't think most people.
That's why I'm.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's why I'm so thankful that we have an administration right now that at least is not doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I am too, and I don't think Americans realize how shitty it is in Britain right now. It's like they have a real problem, and a lot of people think that it's so bad they're never going to really get out of it. I mean, Starmer, their prime minister, is like the most unpopular PM in history, and it looks like in the next round the Farage is probably going to be prime minister, and the Reform Party will come into power. But even if they do, this is gotten so out of hand now that a lot of people think they're not even going to be able to reverse it. I mean, you're absolutely right. You can go to jail for something you post on Twitter or Facebook, and people do. I've heard they're arresting an average of 35 people a day in the country for posting shit online. So you get arrested. You get arrested for posting stuff online. Can you imagine that? And Americans can't. You know, we are the only country in the world with the First Amendment. We are, you know, we're with an actual constitutional amendment that says you have freedom of speech. We're the only one. So it's terrible over there. And you're right. I do think, you know, I had Don Zorro, my friend, on this show a couple weeks ago, and he's Puerto Rican. And he, you know, I was talking to him about the fact that I've been reading, there have been 13 votes in the last like 30 years in Puerto Rico to make Puerto Rico a state. They're a territory of the United States right now. And not only have all these 13 votes failed, the pros have never gone above 30%. In other words, they've been walloped. But, you know, he says to me, he says, you know, the Democrats are just going to keep on doing this until finally at some point they're going to succeed. You know, and I hate to say it, but I think he's right. I just do. They will pummel this and pummel this. They'll go through 20, 30, 40 votes. And at some point, the people will just get tired and say, okay, fine, you know, which is terrible.
Yeah. And that's how we got Mandami.
Yeah.
I mean, they just kept pushing it. But I mean, in New York, so many people think stupidly like that, that think that all the stuff that Mandami was talking about, where free groceries, free bus rides, free subways, that's just the mentality of these stupid people here in upstate New York. You combine it with the drugs, and I mean, you could just say anything to these people and they'll believe it. That's why I mean.
Well, you brought up something here, and I can't remember thinking if you and I have talked about this or not, about the fact that somebody, a guest I had on this show, pointed out, and I never put it together, even though it seems plainly obvious, that the rise of all this political stupidity in the United States has also paralleled the rise of the legality of weed. And I never thought about that. It's like, so
right.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. You know, if you want a populace that's crazy and stupid, give them drugs.
That's right. That's right. They're just following the blueprint of George Orwell's 1984 right now. It's just you intoxicate them enough so that you could push all the subliminal message into their minds. I mean, if someone, the best example for this, I'm just going to say this last example, Jim. But I was at a store during COVID doing my work. And this kid, and he was like 18 years old, maybe 19 years old. We were talking about the whole COVID thing. And he says to me that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm just speaking a bunch of malarkey.
He said, hold on. He said that to you? He said that you don't know what you're talking about?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He said, you don't know. I don't mind the word that he said, that I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's the fact that he used the word malarkey. Now, no 16-year-old kid uses, or 18-year-old kid uses that word malarkey. Nobody uses that word malarkey. But the fact that he said it, I knew for a fact he was constantly watching television.
Right.
And that's where he got that word from. And it's not in the music. It was in this subliminal news report of that Biden kept saying that was the word that Biden kept using.
Right. It was.
And he was just mimicking them. And I could tell this kid is like, he smokes weed. There's a look, you know, there's a pattern.
Yeah. No, I know that look. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and I could just tell that it's the drugs combined with all this news that was going on, and it just he's like a zombie.
So
there's just so many people.
Let me ask you point blank. Do you think we're doomed? You're in your 50s, right? Right. You're in your 50s, right? Okay. So, I mean, do you think before you pass away, I mean, you might have, let's say, you know, you probably have a good 40, 50 years left in you. So before you die, do you think the whole thing's going to go to hell?
there's a possibility. I would say 60-40.
Yeah.
It's close. It's close that this country might turn communist.
Yeah.
But the way things are going right now, I think it's good. The only problem that I have with Trump and the Republicans is I think they're too soft. Like you see what the left is doing. They're killing people.
Yeah.
They're shooting. They attempted a murder on Trump 2 or 3 times. They shot Charlie Kirk. They have all these people going into like schools and churches doing all this to try to make a point, you know, to try to say whatever issues that they're raising. They're attempting. They're violent, and I see that the Republican side is just too soft. And I think it was Gilbert or whatever his name was. He's on The View, and he said that it's because the Republicans or the right will never go radical. It's because they love God too much that they won't go radical. They won't go violent.
Yeah.
That's why they don't fight back.
Right.
And that might be the downfall.
We don't even. I'd say we when I mean conservatives. We don't even fight back verbally. You know, it's like I totally. I think you're totally right. It's hard to take Trump out of the equation because he's the reason that we're in the majority right now. But if it wasn't for him, I just think we'd be pansies. I mean, he's the only one who's really fighting, as far as I can tell. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can. There's just so many things that that the other side have been doing that's just so fucking ridiculous. I mean, all this well, what was Doge trying to accomplish there? To trying to stop spending all over. They were pocketing so much money. They were just they were just robbing this country.
Right.
And nobody even knew this stuff. Nobody even cared.
Have you been following? Have you been following what's been going on here in Minnesota? Have you been following this?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that with the whole Islam thing that's going on over there.
It's unbelievable.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's like, well, first of all, I know they're right. My friend David Strom, who writes for Hot Air, he lives in town here too, and he's been talking about this for years, about the fact that the Somali community here in not just Minnesota, but in Minneapolis specifically, has basically been ripping the state of Minnesota off blind. And no one in the Democratic Party will say anything because they don't want to be called racists. They don't. And so the Somalis they're literally just ripping off the state, hundreds of millions of dollars all over the place. It's just a organized crime syndicate is what it is. So the president, just this couple days ago, yesterday I think it was, he said he is removing temporary protected status for the Somalis in Minnesota, and they're completely up in arms. And of course, they're calling him a racist too. But the fact of the matter is, these people are criminals. There's just no way getting around it. They just are. So but it seems to me it's kind of the future. In some ways, it's the future of America. If you can figure out how to rip off the government, it's like you're unstoppable. That's the terrible part.
That's right. Now, I heard that you're in Minneapolis, and that's the capital. That's where the majority of there's a huge. It's the number one population of Islamic people.
It's called we have what's called a super majority city. More than half the state lives in the metro area. Yeah, but it's actually 2 cities. Is Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're right next to each other. I mean, they literally share a boundary. St. Paul is the actual capital, but Minneapolis is the larger of the 2 of them. So it kind of evens out.
But it's a huge population. The number one population of Muslims or Islam.
Somalis.
Right?
Somalis. Yeah.
Somalis.
The number one concentration in America. Yeah.
And a lot of these Somalis are doing all kinds of fraud, right? It's like food fraud or something like that.
Exactly right. They're in all sorts of fraud. That's right. They're basically their government in Somalia is corrupt, and they basically brought their government corruption over to the United States. That's what they did, you know. And not only that, they're also they're cheating elections. So our mayor here, Jacob Fry, he did win re-election, but he was being challenged very strongly by Somali gentleman who got that guy got caught during. This is really unbelievable. during he was nominated at the Democratic convention here in the state, and he got caught cheating that vote. So he cheated the vote for his own nomination, and they caught him. And these are internally, the Democrats caught him. So they removed their endorsement, but he got on the ballot anyway. He came very close to winning. And it's just fine. It's hilarious. He literally cheated his own nomination. I just find it unbelievable. There have been rumors for years, like Ilhan Omar is the representative from my district here in Minneapolis, and she's been accused for years of paying people to vote for her. And that's not a rumor. Even the local major newspaper even wrote that she pays people to vote for her. So, and nobody seems to stop it. So who knows? It's all terribly corrupt, and it's all gone to hell. And yeah, they're ripping off hundreds of millions of dollars from the state of Minnesota and the federal government too. It's unbelievable. It really is. So I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to stop it. There's another thing about just the whole thing.
I've been hearing a lot about. Sorry, Jim.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about her. She's married to her brother as well,
yes, right? Yes, apparently. Nobody really knows. That's the other thing. Nobody's figured it out. She was married, she got divorced, she's married again, and some people say this guy's actually her brother. Nobody seems to really know. It'd be a Saturday Night Live sketch if it wasn't true. I mean, it's just hilarious. Like, who are you married to? Oh, I don't know. Do you have sex with that person? Oh, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just bullshit. It's just unbelievable. It just doesn't, it never seems to stop, does it? Doesn't think. It just like goes on and on. It's like a big wheel.
Let me ask you, Jim, how do you feel? Do you think the world is, in this lifetime, do you think the world is going to go like downhill? We're going to see.
That's an interesting question.
Democracy.
So that's an interesting question to think, because first of all, the reason I asked you is because I'm 20 years older than you. So, you got more time to live through this than I do. I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I do think that I think inevitably the whole thing will go to hell. I hate to say that, I really do, but I think it will. But we might be looking at 100 years. I don't know. Now this, I actually had this on my notes tonight as filler in case no one called, about the fact that Elon Musk at the Saudi Arabian summit this last weekend, he said that he's been basically said the same thing I've been saying, with one big difference. He said that in 20 to 30 years, money will be irrelevant and nobody's have to work, because we're going to have AI robots that are going to do every single physical task. And I've been saying that once we get to the point where we have atomic replication, which I'm saying is 100 to 300 years from now, so that was the only big difference, is that it will. And he said that basically we will become socialists. Now I've said the same thing, but the thing is, I don't think he's figured in. He said the same reason I did, and that is he says AI will eliminate scarcity, and I don't think it's going to. It will eliminate maybe scarcity of labor, but you're still going to have to. And you might have robots down in the coal mine mining coal instead of people, but you still have to mine the coal. When my scenario was, if you have atomic replication, you don't need to mine or manufacture anything. So at that point, I think socialism is a natural evolution. But he thinks it's going to happen in 10 to 30 years. So I don't know if that's true. But then again, it's like maybe it's two different things. You're talking about the question of whether the whole system's going to go to hell into corruption. That might, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to live to see that, but I do think it's an inevitability. I hate to say it, I do. But I don't know when.
I hope the socialism that Elon Musk is talking about is an equal socialism, where since we have robots working for us, we don't need to work, and so the government can pay everybody a certain amount of money just to survive.
That's exactly what he's saying.
That that's what he's talking about.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, okay. That is what he's saying. Yeah.
But that's different from the reality of socialism that I've seen when, at least in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Well, the socialism in Vietnam is just corrupt. And I don't even know why they say Vietnam is a socialist country. If you go to the hospital over there, you got to pay. I mean, they won't let you on the ambulance unless you pay.
Uh-huh.
For students to go to school, they have to pay every day. Like my daughter, she would have to bring the teacher like a little, like 20 cents every day or something like that to be in school that day.
Huh.
Whereas here in America, public schools, you go for free.
Right.
They eat for free. The police department here is free. Fire department here is free. Ambulance is free to a certain extent, and even hospital. And then we have welfare system.
Yeah.
If anything, I would think America is more socialist than Vietnam.
Well,
There's no welfare system in Vietnam.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
think you're not the only person who said that. People have said we were already in some ways awfully socialist, you know. So you got a
Yeah.
point there, and you're right. Just
Yeah.
like no hospital will turn away anybody, even if they don't have any money. You know they won't. So
Right.
they just and I've heard that too about Vietnam, about the fact that it's really quite capitalist. That it's you
Yeah.
know. So well,
Yeah, it's extremely capitalist. There's no welfare system over there. Like if you're poor, then that's on you. You're gonna have to do something about
right.
it. You can't go to the government and ask for money. There's no such thing as that. And if you get sick, I mean, the hospital, they won't let you in unless you pay up front. So it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I
we
don't get
have a
that.
lot to be thankful for, I guess. You know. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna cook a turkey. How about you? I cook.
I'm actually not doing anything. I'm probably going to cook something, but we're not. I mean, for the first time in probably 30 years, we're not going anywhere. We're not having anybody over. It's just like yeah. So I'll probably just cook something. In the past, I always cooked the turkey, but I don't know. It's like it's not my year or whatever. My mother's in the assisted living facility now, so I don't know. But it's going to be good. You know, I'm cool with it. I'm starting to become kind of a recluse. Think I don't know what the hell happened to me, but I like staying home. So I don't know.
Oh, I thought that you would go to like your family and just have a big
Oh,
Thanksgiving thing. Your
normally,
mom's in assisted living?
yeah. she just
Okay. Right.
got in one. Right. She just I mean at 101, she just got into assisted living. But the thing is, it is not. It's not really. It's not a nursing home. She has her own apartment. There's help there if she needs it, but she doesn't need a lot of help. So it's really funny. So now I'm going to go. They're having a party. She's having a party in a couple weeks. I'm going to go. I mean, we are. It's just that we're not going on Thanksgiving. We're doing a lot of family stuff, but just not on Thanksgiving. So and that's fine. You know, my sister's sick, so whatever. You know, it's cool. It's all right. We have a lot to be thankful for. I think. And I got
Yeah.
seriously, I'm
Yeah.
thankful. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you calling in. I appreciate it. I really do.
And I'm thankful for you having me on your show. Definitely. Definitely. I'm
Um,
thankful.
no,
Yeah, I guess your Thanksgiving is gonna be similar to mine, where it's just me and my daughter here at my house, and we're just gonna have
how old is she?
Thanksgiving
Think.
dinner.
How old is your
She's
daughter?
17, and she's 17, and she's in 11th grade.
Uh huh.
She's quite a handful. She's quite a handful.
Well, God,
You don't have any children, right?
no, I don't. No, I don't. And we don't have much time left. But God, that's a whole hour conversation about. I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not in high school now. I mean, oh Jesus Christ! I just think these kids are just going through murder. It's between social media and all the bullshit in school, and the fact they're not actually being taught anything. It's like I'm making a generalization. I don't know what your daughter's school is like, but still,
You're not.
yeah, they're not. No, they
You're
aren't.
not making a general. You basically just said it.
Right.
They. I wish we had more time, but I would definitely like to talk to you about the shots that the school made me have her get,
Oh
and
God.
also she's when she was 16, the nurse wouldn't let me talk to her. The nurse kept saying, "Okay, I need to talk to her alone. I need to talk to her alone." She kept saying it, and they started talking about like her period or whatever, and then they were trying to give her hormone blockers.
Yeah, of course they
and
are.
I had to stop it.
Right.
It wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, of course they're giving her hormone
and all
blockers.
kinds of
It's
shit.
very important that they block her hormones.
Yeah.
Very important. And we should almost schedule a talk about that thing. Cause yeah, I think the world needs to hear what you have to say about that. Cause it's a pretty bad situation.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not 17 now.
Yeah.
So God bless her, and God bless you. So I got to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for
Thanks
calling,
for having
man.
me on.
I appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jim.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. You take care of yourself. All right.
All right.
We'll talk to you.
You too. Bye.
That's Think. He's calling from upstate New York. A good guy. Oh, geez, did I just screw up the phone system? Well, whatever. Anyway, yeah, and we do have to go. So I want to thank Dr. Gilda Carle, Dr. Gilda, for coming on. That was fascinating. I want to thank Think for talking. That was fascinating. He's a very interesting guy. I'm lucky I get to talk to interesting people. So we're taking the rest of the week off here. So we're going to come back on next Monday on December 1st. Our guest is going to be Jonathan Lockwood. We're going to be talking about what's going on in Ukraine and the peace deal there. And he's an expert at that. So he knows all about that. So yeah, so I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving too. I want to thank you for watching and listening. I really appreciate it a lot. You don't know how much. You really don't. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are, and good night to you, wherever you may be. So we'll see you next Monday, everybody. You have a nice week. Have a nice Thanksgiving. Take care, all right?